and welcome to the Queen We Got You podcast. I'm your host, Monique, and I'm joined by Miss Kel and Kerry. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hi.
We're here.
We are.
We've stopped laughing.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever release the start of this.
No, it took a while.
Please don't.
No. Took a few moments for us to gain composure, but we're here, we're good. And today our topic is around strength training. And not just strength training, we're not going to talk about strength training just in terms of bodybuilding and aesthetics, but what are the actual health benefits for women? Yeah. And why is this such an important piece that we really need to be prioritizing and focusing, especially as we do get older as well? So, before we jump in, Kerry, babe, how's your week?
It's been good. I'm just going to talk a little bit about what I did last weekend, but also I'm going to talk about the power of manifestation.
Ooh.
Because there's been a few things that's happened recently, but this is quite small, but it happened. So one of my clients, anyway, she went on holiday and she's English and she was having scones daily. It's a funny story, but anyway, I'm English. I do like a British English scone. And I went home and went, oh my God, I love a scone. And I said to Phil and the kids so many times, I want to have a scone. Anyway, randomly went to Bradbury Island on Saturday, had lunch with Phil, and then this lady walked out and gave me a free scone.
Oh, stop it.
No, so I've been like on at the kids, on at Phil, kept saying I want a scone. So it happened. She just came out and just handed it to me. Not Phil, just me. So how random is that? Yes.
She just walked over and goes, have a free scone.
Yeah, like, just give me a free scone. Not to
Like,
Phil.
was it someone that worked there?
No, she worked there, but still, it was just random that she just came out of a package and just give it to me. So yeah,
that is really...
It is weird, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So
Did Phil not go up maybe and be like, can you please give my wife a scone? Because
No.
she's really annoying me about this scone.
And it's funny, so my friend messaged this morning and she said, do you want to do a CrossFit comp this weekend on Bradbury Island? Random again. I haven't been to Bradbury Island for about 10 years. And I just went, yes, so I'm going to do that this weekend because I still think there's something in that as well.
Love that.
Which I need to do.
Back to the scone.
Yes.
Plain or
Yeah,
date?
hold
It
on.
was plain and it was rustic. So I actually took it home and me and Phil shared it.
Love.
Oh, nice.
Are you a plain scone or a date scone?
A plain scone.
Oh.
I do like date scones, but a traditional English scone or scone, if you're posh.
Yep.
Scone is it's just plain with jam and some clotted cream.
Next question.
Yes.
What first, jam or cream?
Oh,
Ooh.
good question.
Oh,
Mon.
controversial.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, what I would do, I'd put one on half of it and the other on the other half and just sandwich it together.
Oh, okay.
So whichever goes on top, I don't know.
I was not expecting that answer.
No, I was expecting like a real prim and proper English answer. That's why I asked.
What about you, Mon?
But I would say jam first.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
then cream
jam
on top.
I'm
because
jam
it would be
first,
messy if it
100%.
wasn't.
Yeah. I find it so weird that people would do it the other way. And I
Yeah.
know it's a thing. People
Yeah.
do the cream first. I'm like, I don't
I
understand.
don't understand how
Like,
do
the
you spread
texture is
jam
different.
nicely?
Top.
It's weird. People are weird. Anyways.
How did we get to
That was
this?
a great tangent. I really feel like
But anyway, listeners, manifest. That is actually the key to this conversation.
I love it.
I love it too. I want a scone now.
Dude, it's so funny.
Put it over.
No, it's
No, I
so
won't do
funny
my
you said
macros.
that. I've literally been craving scones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, never cooked a scone in my life. 2 weeks ago, I'm like, I'm so sick of like wanting a scone. I was at home. I'm like, I'm just going to make them.
Yeah.
Never made them before in my life. They turned out okay, actually. Yeah, I made a little one so that they're a bit more macro friendly.
Yeah.
Because
They're quite tricky
fats.
to actually make a good scone. Yeah.
Yeah, they were good when they first came out. Next day, not so much.
Yeah.
So
See, I don't want to bake it because I only wanted one. So it was actually quite handy that I was given the one.
Love that.
anyway,
And what else did you have? You had something else, didn't you?
That was it. No, it was just because of the manifestation. There was nothing else.
Ah.
No, that was the highlight of my week, actually.
Oh, I love that.
I love it. That's so good.
Hilarious.
So good.
Kel.
I love scones. But I haven't tried a date scone. I know.
Oh,
I know.
no, I'm a warm date scone. That's what I love.
I'm going to have to try one because
Yeah.
everyone keeps going on about it. I can't believe how much scones have come up since I finished comp. I'm
Yeah.
like, I just want a scone and I don't know why. I'm not, it's not like
That's
I've
so
been,
weird.
it's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
See,
Anyway.
for me, it's like a real, it's not childhoodish, but it's more like teenager, early 20s. My dad and I would go to Gloria Jean's and have a scone and a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And it was our
so
thing.
nostalgic for
It's
you.
so nostalgic for
That's
me.
what it's like for me because my
Yeah.
grandma would bake them.
Yeah.
So that's like quite a nice like English thing that we would do together.
My grandma used to bake them, and I honestly think that that's why I was craving them after comp because I had all these not weird dreams, but like dreams about like my grandma passed like when I moved to Sunny Coast. She's
Yeah.
been gone for 10 years. Her and I were really, really close, and I had all these like dreams and stuff leading into comp, and she was always in them. And I
Wow.
haven't had that for ages. And like we were flying on the plane, and I'm like, I felt like she was there, and then all of a sudden after comp, I want these scones, and it was
love
just
that.
real weird. Yeah, but anyway, so I made myself a scone and had it.
Fun.
Yeah. Anyway, it wasn't great. Definitely wasn't a scone. Anyway,
Anyway.
Love.
so good. My week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull out my learning for this week. So there's a couple of things that I know I should be doing that I've been highly procrastinating about and not doing, and doing everything else except for the two things that I really should be doing. So Wednesday morning, I'm laying in bed and I'm like, I could have another half an hour sleep in, and I'm like, get the fuck up, bitch. You've got shit to do. So I did, got up, and I'm like, right, you've done that. Now you're going to do the things that you've been avoiding for the last week and a half. So open my laptop up, go on to, like, I've got some business coaches at the moment,
Yeah.
and I've asked them to review something for me. And I've really been procrastinating on listening to this loom of this
Oh.
feedback. So, like, I'm catastrophizing the shit out of the situation. I mean, I'm
Yep.
paying them. Like, I'm literally, you've done exactly what I've asked you to do. Why am I not actioning this? Because
Yep.
I'm scared of failing, right?
Yep.
All the time.
Yeah.
It's my total fear. Anyway, I jump into this feedback, and he's basically like, Kelly, this is fucking amazing. Like, you've never done this before, and this is what you've, like, done. Like, holy shit. Like, it's going so well. I don't know what you're worried about. Can you tell me how I can actually help you?
Oh, that's hilarious.
And I'm like, shout out to Tim Frey, one of my business coaches. Wrote, funny story, Tim. Here I was procrastinating about this thing, like, for a week and a half about listening to this because I was thinking, like, I'm going to have to do all this stuff and I don't have the time to do it, and telling myself all these stories because they talk about, like, what you tell yourself all the time. And I said, lesson learnt from this, get the fuck out of your own way.
Yeah.
So that's my lesson this week.
I was going to ask you, but you answered it. How long was it sat in your inbox for?
Like a week and a
Yeah.
half. Yeah.
It's good though. I mean, you got round to it. That's the main thing.
I did, but I had to give myself a bit of a talking to.
Yeah.
And I think that people think it's easy because I do the same thing with the gym. And I think people think it's easy sometimes for us because we're in this space and all that. But it's like, sometimes we have to have those conversations with ourselves too. We're not always all motivated all the time. So it's like, it's just a good reminder as well for people to be like, you know what you need to do. So sometimes you just need to talk yourself out of the dumb shit. Yeah.
Just stop making assumptions.
Right?
Like, at the end of the day, you're just assuming it was going to be the worst case. And it's like, it was so far from that.
Honestly, when I was doing this thing, I was in tears doing it. Like, it was so frustrating for me because it's been a long time since I've not been really good at something, if that makes sense. So like everything I do, I'm pretty good at now because I'm doing it all the time and I'm educated and all the things.
Yeah.
And this one thing I know absolutely nothing about, and I felt like I sucked at it because I struggled to make it happen.
Yeah.
And then I did it and I'm like, it's shit. Like, tell me how I went. Please be kind because, it's terrible. I'm in tears and then he's just like, I don't know what your actual problem is. But that's what I love about, that's the reason why I went to them, was because both of them are very like straight to the point.
Yeah.
And I love it. Yeah.
And as well, what is the worst that could have happened? They could have just said, okay,
Right.
feedback.
Yeah.
Okay, can we change this or work on this?
Yeah.
So whatever it was, could have been worked on
And that's
too.
what I talked myself into, because
Yeah.
it was like, come on, like, you pay them for this.
Exactly.
You're
Yeah.
trying to learn. You can't learn without that element of
Yeah.
it. Like, you need that feedback. And so, yeah, but
Oh, well done.
get the fuck out of your
Yeah.
own way.
Feedback's an interesting one, especially when you're saying, you know, you're paying for it as well. Because I even know my own personal experience. I did a whole year of uni without reading a single feedback comment on any
Yeah.
assignment.
Yeah, okay.
That was a bad idea.
Yeah, probably.
But also, like, just look at the grade and move on kind of thing. It's like, no, you should probably be looking at your feedback and learning from it.
Yeah.
And how to do better
Yeah.
moving forward. But even though I know, like, my check-ins with Joey, he doesn't do Loom videos very often. But when I get a reply check-in from him that's a Loom video, my heart is in my mouth and I'm just like freaking out going, oh my God, why am I getting a video? Why am I getting a video? And it's always been fucking fine.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Yeah.
never an issue.
Yeah,
But
you can really
just
work yourself up.
work
to
yourself
things.
up.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side of that, I know Paul, there's been a few times with like his client check-ins, because he does Loom videos a lot for his athletes and that,
Yeah.
where he's like, they didn't even fucking open last week's video and yet I'm doing another video for now.
Jasper.
I don't know who the people are, but it happens often.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're paying for this service.
Yeah.
Use it.
Dude, I wait for mine. I'm like, he's a bit late this morning. No, I'm
Like-
joking. But I'm just like,
Yeah.
I hang out for mine. I love it.
Yeah, you're paying for the service.
But I also know I do the right things. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I already know what I'm doing during the week. So I'm more than happy to get his feedback.
Yeah.
Because I know that I've probably done okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like on this, because I was so terrified about the actual like the
Yeah.
end product and if I'd actually done it the right way. It was terrifying. Terrifying. And I worked myself up so bad for it.
That's so interesting though then, isn't it? How
Yes.
feedback delivered just on different things can create a different
Yeah.
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, and he does looms as well, so he goes through
Yeah.
like the thing with you. So
Yeah.
but yeah.
Love that.
What about you, Mon?
I've had a wild week.
I have
In a-
no doubt.
In a great way though.
Yeah.
In a really, really great way. So obviously over at Easy Fit now doing PT, and that's been so exciting. So lots of consults this week and just lots of chats with women again and just being back in that commercial space. And I was saying to you, Cal, like, you can sometimes get caught up in your bodybuilding world
Yeah.
and that athlete mentality and this is what we're doing and this is, you know, of course, like, it makes sense. We're educated. We know these things.
Yeah.
And then you jump to that commercial space and you start to hear women's stories again. And you're like, what? It's 2025.
Why are we still talking?
Why are we still here? Why are we still... Like, I had one lady who's like, you know, when I want to drop weight, I just cut out all carbs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are we doing this?
There
And-
must be something going around because I've literally had 3 conversations this week. Exact same thing, Mon.
But like this woman was significantly older and she was like, yeah, whenever I want to lose weight, I just cut out carbs, I drop a couple kilos and then we're good. And then when I want to do it again, I'll do it again.
Yeah.
But then the whole point of her coming to me was though, she goes, but it's not working anymore.
Yeah, okay.
And it's like, okay, we don't need to do these crazy extremes. And I've had lots of conversations like that this week. But then also too, just lots of really great conversations with women who are like, I just want to feel good. I
Love that.
don't want to lose.
love that.
I don't want to lose weight. Yeah, sure, I'd like to tone up a bit. I just want to feel fit and healthy and strong. And I've got young kids and I want to run around after them. And yeah, so that's been my highlight of the
they're
week.
so
It's just
good.
just conversations with women and just even. It's not just about the training. It's about that self-worth, that self-respect. And
Yeah.
we're doing this for more than just athletics.
Yeah.
It's not just about how you feel or how you look. It's about how you feel, how you perceive yourself. And yeah, it's been fun. It's been good.
You actually walked in today into the engine room. We nearly ran into each other because I was opening doors. You were opening
Literally walked into each other. Yeah.
But I was like, ooh, you look so... Didn't she look happy this week?
Yeah.
Like real glowy and like
But when I've seen you at Easy Fit, you look
happy.
happy, settled
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Like you've always been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good vibe.
Yeah.
And I said, I think I might have said on the podcast, or I've definitely said in person, is I'm still life coaching and I love that. But there's nothing, it's just being behind a
need that
computer screen
face-to-face.
is different to being face to face
Yeah.
with somebody.
Yeah, completely.
It's
Yeah.
completely different.
Yeah.
And I've had chats with Paul about this as well, because obviously he's online coach plus face to face. And he often says, like, when the day comes to eventually no longer be face to face, he's like, I don't think I want to not be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I still want to have some face to face, because
Yeah.
being behind a computer screen, you get lonely.
It's not a vibe.
It's not a vibe.
And it's also possibly losing that touch as well of actually working with people as well personally, rather than just having that barrier of not having that that contact.
Yeah.
I think as a health coach, a strength coach, whatever you are in this space,
Yeah.
I think it's like even an element, because I'm as well, same as Paul, I'm like both, so online and face to face.
Yeah.
But I think I service my online clients better because I have face to face clients as well.
Yeah.
Like I think that you need that little bit of, it's almost like a reality check.
Yeah.
As far as like things that are going on, things that are present at the moment, things way that, because we were talking about this before, Mon, it all happens in big like clumps of people, so it's like everyone has the same issues at the same time, and you know, and so it's like, oh, that's what's going on at the moment, whether it's something on social media or whatever it is. But yeah,
I just think too, you just get so used to your bubble.
yeah,
And if you're not working with people outside of your immediate circle, like, online coaching, but if you're not working with people from different lifestyles, different life experiences and journeys, I think you get stuck in your bubble a little bit much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why people should never go from being getting their certs and go straight to being an online coach.
so many people do though.
You just
I don't
miss-
know how long they last.
You just
like-
miss so much critical learning and development.
Yeah, 100%. I've always said to, like, there's been people who've reached out to me and been like, oh, thinking about like getting into this space, and I said, yeah, cool, and they're like, oh, like, how do you do the online stuff? And I said, personally, I learned very little from the actual course itself, and I learned far more from training with Paul.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
having Paul as my mentor, being in the gym with Paul, watching Paul with his clients, like
Yeah.
that's where I learn all the important stuff and the things that like really help me be a good coach.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
And that's that.
And that is that.
Ba-boom.
I did think I was going to have an update on my finger today, and I was going to be very excited about that, but no, we don't have that yet.
Oh.
So I'm still waiting.
Oh.
We're potentially not needing surgery, but I'm not going to celebrate until I get
Yeah,
it
that's
confirmed.
fair.
So so I've got my little sleeve on my finger.
Slingy
My
thing.
little compression sleeve. Anyways, enough about that weirdo. Let's talk about today's topic. Ladies,
Wonderful.
you have both been busy researching and I've been busy not.
Well, I was on my phone, but I was just kind of like scrolling. So yeah, I wouldn't say.
TikTok research. I had a girl said to me, I asked her what strength training program she's following at the moment because she dabbles in it. And she's like, oh, just jump on TikTok. And she's like, just copies TikTok workouts. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm not on TikTok and I'm staying away from it.
Yeah, me neither. Actually, it's one platform I do struggle to use.
Yeah.
But my girls are that fluent in it; they can use it really well.
I
They grew up
have
with
it. I have it. Lee had it. He deleted it because he accidentally fell into that hole of like you just
tick, tick,
literally
tick,
you're
tick,
just like scrolling
Yeah.
through these things, and it's so hard to stop sometimes, and you don't realize how much time you've wasted.
Yeah.
But I find it really weird. Like the things that people engage with on that, I find it really weird. But yeah.
Anyways, back to
Well,
today's topic.
strength training off of TikTok. With that, I actually did. Have I sent it out yet or not? I don't remember. I have a post. It's either out or not. I don't remember anymore because I now advance like get my stuff organized. It's amazing. But I was talking about strength training with someone, and I said, like, I do a lot of reflection on when I first started because more recently, I'm trying to work on the fact that I'm trying not to focus so much on my outside of what I look like and things like that, because it's so easy to continuously move your goalposts when you're in the sport that we are. So you're always moving the goalpost. You're like, and you never celebrate the moment that you hit something. And so I'm like, okay, let's just slow down for a sec. And so I'm trying to peel it right back. And I'm like, the first version of me, when I first came to Paul, I would never have imagined looking like I do now, but now I look like I do, it's still not good enough. Do you know what I mean? So I've just been trying to peel it back. So I've been doing lots of reflecting. So when I first started with Paul and just before I started with Paul. So just before I started with Paul, I remember when I was doing strength training, I did a similar thing. TikTok wasn't a thing then, obviously. It was like Google strength training session. And then I would get this random like program off of wherever, because I obviously didn't know who to believe and things like that as well. And I'd go to the gym and I'd do that session, whatever it told me to do. I would definitely not lift the weights that I was capable of because, I didn't want to get too bulky. So, 2 and 3 kilo weights, that's what toned you up, right? And so 2 things with that. Number 1, never hitting my full potential. Number 2, I'm not really creating the muscle mass required to tone my body. But number 3, because I was doing that and I'd do it every day, I wasn't actually, there's no structure to it. So there's no purpose to it, and I'm changing my workout every single day. And it's like, I'm not progressing in anything. Like, I'm not actually, what am I doing? And obviously I didn't know until I started with Paul that, like, this is the way you do things, right? So you don't know until you know. So I guess that, like, one particular part of strength training that I think is important is you don't have to have a PT, have a program. Like, at least be following something that's kind of structured. I highly recommend getting a program off of a coach, because obviously they can at least do it to your goals and they know what they're talking about and they're qualified to do so. But follow that for a period of time so that you can track your improvements and, like, actually advance in the lifts and things like that. So I think that constant need to, because I know that people say they get bored very easy with their training programs, and I've now made all of my clients, they do 6 weeks in one program minimum. Some of them choose to double that up because they like that structure. But it's like, you can't really progress something until you have done it for, like, your body has to get used to a movement. Then you can start, like, to push that movement and things like that. So I think that's a misconception that needs to be squished from the start. Like, constantly changing your strength training programs is probably not conducive to your goals, I guess, is one thing to start with.
Yeah, I've got a few older clients. They're all, like, in their 60s. So I've got, and one of them particularly at the moment, who she's actually visiting from the UK. And so I train her daughter, she's here. So it's like, when you get to a certain age, a lot of more women now are understanding that they actually need to start strength training. Whether they're 50, 60, doesn't matter. But understanding that this is for longevity now, and yes, they're okay now, but they need to keep going. And it's just so nice because they're like little sponges, because they're actually not just there now because it's aesthetics. They're actually there because, do you know what? I need to get stronger. I just need to have functional movements in strength where, like, even like pegging the washing out. Sitting up from a chair, all these kind of things. But it's just so nice to actually, like little sponges, and it's just that, like, to understand, okay, this is why we do a lat pull down. This is why we do whatever other movement it might be. Because what she's now going to do is go back to the UK, join a gym. But I've been teaching her what every single movement is, why we do it, how to put together programs, full body movements, full body programs, just so she can go off, and so she's not like my mum was doing. I'm just going to pull at this and just push this thing. So it's just understanding why we do things. And then obviously, one, she's not going to get injured, but she's also going to get some progression as well, which is just going to help her get stronger and then keep getting stronger too.
Absolutely. I think it's so important too, especially when we talk about aging, because as we do age, we know we lose muscle mass. We lose it. It starts to go pretty quickly too. If you're not using 30, it, you're losing it. And our bone density. And one of my biggest fears is if I'm older and I fall and can't get back up. I remember reading an awful story about a woman once who fell and who lived by herself, and she passed away because she couldn't get up to call for help.
Oh, God.
And someone then put in a welfare check for her, one of her children. And they found her passed away. And it's like, that is mortifying and terrible, because she obviously didn't have the strength or whatever had happened to be able to get herself back up again.
It's like movements like deadlifts, for example. Like, I know that deadlifts are like a really touchy subject with lots of people still.
Yep.
Especially because I would be hard pressed to find someone who hasn't come to me and said, I have a weird lower back. Like, honestly, so many people have weird lower backs.
Yeah.
Like, whether they've had a previous injury or that it feels twingy because they're older, or like, you know, when you get out of bed when you're older and it's like,
You
oh my
sit so
God.
much.
Yeah, exactly. And often it's not even actually your back, it's like hip flexors, your glutes, like all those kind of things. They transfer to back pain often. But it's like, oh, so I can't deadlift. And I'm like, how do you get your groceries off the floor? And they're like, oh, I do. And I'm like, so you deadlift them off the floor.
Yeah.
And it's like relating, like, I think those things back to everyday life, that it helps people switch that mindset from like, oh yeah, I'm doing this to have sexy legs or whatever it is, to, oh, okay, it's actually important for me to be able to do that. Yeah.
But most people's like deadlift from the floor is probably like Mr. Burns from The Symptoms, are just
Absolutely.
like bent over and probably thinking they're hinging, but they're not.
Yeah.
So I think it's just people get scared of deadlifts, but if you actually go, no, it's actually hinge movement.
Yes.
Yeah.
And understanding that functional movement then.
Yes.
Yeah.
But most people, don't hinge
As soon
back
as you
to
say deadlift, though, do people, like new
definitely.
people, they freak out.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? What do you mean by deadlifting? And it's like, I feel like
It's because they just think a deadlift, the only deadlift movement is a big barbell.
huge,
yes.
yeah.
So that's all they think it is.
Yeah.
But obviously peel it all the way back and it's multiple
start with a
different
kettlebell
ones.
or
Yes.
yeah.
So even like when I had hurt my back and I did go to my physio, and I'm so glad in the end I found an incredible women's physio who was working alongside the surgeon, so she understood. And one of the things was, how do you unload the dishwasher? And if you
That's
If
interesting.
you think about the position, if you have to get to the bottom shelf of your dishwasher, how are you doing it? You're either squatting down or you're bending, which needs to be a hinge movement like a deadlift. So if you're doing it incorrectly, you're probably going to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe not today,
Or
maybe
you're
not
gonna,
tomorrow.
or you're going to get stiff.
You're going to
or-
trigger something and be like, oh, that hurts. That's a bit twingy today.
Yeah.
But if you know how to do it properly and do that movement, know how to hinge properly, know how to squat properly, you can pull out a heavy ass pot from the bottom of your dishwasher and be okay.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that she was saying to me. And groceries again.
Yeah.
So like, she
Well,
got me.
anything off the floor, really, right?
But even from the car.
Yes.
So she's like, okay, if you're pulling groceries out of your car, how do you know how to do it and brace and protect your back?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting. I
Yeah.
think we forget about that sometimes. We do. We go back to, I'm doing this because I want toned arms.
Yeah.
Look beyond that.
Yeah. It's a conversation I've been having like a lot with my clients, is it's like, stop focusing. And I guess it's because I'm kind of going through that phase as well. Like, I'm really trying to stop focusing on what I look like again, because of like what I said, moving goalposts and not celebrating where I'm at. So mine's a different reason, but it still brings it back to like, at the end of the day, I saw a really good quote the other day, and it was something like, if your fitness journey has an end date, it's wrong, or something like that. But it's like, you need to be doing this for the rest of your life. And I think that that's something that people need to come to the conclusion of as well, is it's like, you don't just start something, do it for 12 weeks, get to this goalpost, and then stop, and everything's fine for the rest of your life. It doesn't work like that. It should be something that you're continuously working on and doing, and like progressing in, and making sure that you are fortifying your body for future you. Like,
Yeah, one of my online ladies, she's like in her late 50s, and they have a farm, and she needs to keep strong because they're doing like all mulching and different things. So she's like, certain times of the year, like she's got heavy work to do, but she doesn't want to retire yet.
Yeah.
They don't want to pay somebody else to do it. So she wants to keep like active and strong.
Yeah.
But she needs to get stronger in like every movement, not
Yes.
just like, because she's just probably doing the same things, pushing
Pushing
in
and
one
pulling,
direction,
yeah.
but she needs
Yeah.
to get strong in
Yeah,
everything.
on one plane kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just important that, okay, this needs to be supported. Obviously, your training program is different for you,
Yes.
based on somebody else, but it has to be functional for what you need to do in your day, like everyday life.
Yeah. Were you building, because I had someone ask me the other day about the difference between hip thrusts and glute bridges, right? Because they're like, well, it's the same movement. I'm like, yes and no. Like, there are different, your body functions in different ways,
Yeah.
and we need to make those little slight changes. Angles make a huge difference to any movement, right? Like foot placement, like the way that you hold your knees or your legs, how far apart you have them, all of those things make big differences.
Yeah.
And they can change the area of that muscle that you're using as well. So I think that, like for her, like you said, she's just doing the same movements. So she's probably really strong in those movements on that plane, but not so much everywhere else.
Yeah.
So it means that it's the same as like pull-ups. If you don't do pull-ups or practice pull-ups regularly, you lose that skill, right? Like it's harder to do it. Whereas if you're doing them quite regularly, every 6-week blocks or whatever, and you do them, then it's like you're more likely to retain that movement and get better at it. Whereas like if you stop doing them for a period of time, all of a sudden you go to do one again, you're like, oh my God, my strength's gone.
Yeah.
So it's like a good thing to do everywhere to make sure that you're like hitting everything so that you're able to do different movements and not like, I can push this 100 kilos, but if I bend over and pick my groceries up off the floor, I hurt my back.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really important because you don't want to have imbalances and weak spots in your body.
No.
Because especially as you age, like those weaker spots are going to get weaker. And you've built the muscle mass in those other areas and they're probably okay for a while. But then, like you said, you're going to twinge something or hurt something.
Yeah. And that's why it's good as well. Like if you do follow a program, just make sure that it will need changing every so often because you're just going to be constantly working the same muscles, probably not in different fibers too. So just change it. Could be a lat pull down to a close pull down. Could be underhand grip to like pronation, all different things. It's just making sure that, things get changed as well. And that's why sometimes it is good to, you don't always have to have a PT like consistently. It's just like you could just go to someone like I do sometimes. I just teach people the fundamentals and they go off and do their own things.
Learn what you can kind of thing,
And then at least you've known the basics to actually go off and you're moving better, you're moving correctly as well. And then you actually understand why you're doing those things too.
I think also too the benefits then outside of just that as well. So when you strength train, you usually sleep better as well. Like there's other benefits outside. Your mood's usually improved. Just generally you feel better.
What about
you're
hormone
stronger.
health?
So important for your hormone health. Like there's so much more research coming out, especially now we start talking perimenopause. And also too, like people think that that's something I do when I turn 50. It's like, no.
Set yourself up right for it, right?
Set yourself up. If you're like 35, start thinking about this. Right? Don't think you've got a long time to go before you hit that. And also too, like, there was a thing the other day, and I'm going to butcher it, but it's like the average Australian woman lives to like, 76, I think it is. So middle age is 38. So we've got to get that in our head.
It's lower, hasn't it?
We've got to get that in our head that we need to really start thinking about these things
early
before we get there. Girls are so quick to go and get Botox in their forehead for prevention, but we're not strength training. What's more important here?
That's too much effort, isn't it, for some people?
Yes. A couple of needles in the head and off we go. See you in 3 months. But no. We need to start thinking about these things.
Yeah.
And don't get me started on hormones. Hormone health is so freaking important. And unfortunately for women, like it's not been studied enough. It's not been researched enough. Thankfully now that's starting to change, but it's starting to change.
It's slow.
It takes time.
It's funny because, and I didn't know this until recently, but there's a lot of the strength research around anything strength training or gym kind of related, and even nutrition. A lot of females were excluded from initial like science trials and stuff like that because we're too unpredictable because of our period. And it's like, I'm sorry, what the fuck? Like, should that not be more of a reason to be studying females? Because it's like that unpredictability, we still need to know about that.
Absolutely.
What the fuck? Who came up with that idea? Like,
so that's why Dr. Stacey Sims, that's why she started collecting the research, collecting data, because she was that athlete going, there's no other evidence here, and that's what they told her. And she just went, well, I need to do it myself. That's where she went down that massive journey. So that's why, like, she now is advocating, okay, this is why women need to do strength training, and this is what we need to do personally for females, not just males. So it's just great now how
it's getting
Yeah.
more well known and more kind of advocated for.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say to everyone, I feel much better now than I ever have. Like, it's literally, I think, like, gaining muscle mass is absolutely an anti-aging situation,
100%
right?
it is.
Yeah.
And I always say, I wish I had have found this earlier. Like, I wish I had have found what I know now. I wish I had have known that earlier. And I'm kind of jealous of, like, the 20-year-olds and stuff in the gym, because it's more accepted, if that makes sense now, like, to be a gym girly. Whereas, like, when I went as a teenager, I remember, because I've always been kind of attracted to, like, the gym.
Yeah.
And so I used to go to the gym, and I found a couple of girlfriends once, and we went to, what was it then? Gold's Gym, I think it was called, in Townsville, which is that big bodybuilding gym in Townsville. It's massive. And we went and we did some weights, like what we thought we were doing. But we got looked at really weird. And I'm talking like I was probably 16, 17. And we did get looked at really weird, because that was just not, it was just weird to see like girls in the gym. And so we ended up in the sauna and the spa, because we were just getting looked at really weird. And I'm like, why was that a thing? Like, yeah, it's just weird how things change. But I wish that the like younger generation now are really lucky that it's kind of a bit more accepted, I think.
Yeah, I think the past decade it's increased a lot.
Yeah.
Like there's more and more women, like you walk in, there's like, they're in the squat racks, they're on the bench presses. It's just like they're taking up more space now than the men.
Yeah.
Which is really good to see. So I think it's just more acceptable, and it's just normal,
right?
isn't it? It's just normal now. Now it's like, it's just not women doing cardio and men doing weights. It's just like everyone's doing everything, aren't they? There's men doing reformer.
Yeah.
So it's not just isolated to females. Actually, men are doing what only females used to do.
They probably need to benefit from that sort of stuff as well, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's interesting though, even talking about that now, like I'm thinking to like some of the consults I had this week, and women who have been members of a gym who have never once stepped on the weights floor.
Yeah.
Not once. And you ask them why, they're like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm intimidated. I'm scared. I don't have confidence.
Intimidation is a
If
big
you're that
one.
woman, get a trainer.
Yeah.
Just get a trainer, one session. Just go and do one and
Yeah.
see. Do another one and see. Like, find it in your budget.
Yeah.
Because your health is worth this.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
don't just be like, I come to the gym and do classes. Like, classes absolutely have their place and they're great for some things. But seriously, if you're that woman who has not been on the gym floor, and a lot of big gyms have a ladies only area.
Yeah, they do.
So use it. But if you're unsure, get a trainer.
Yeah.
Like, just find someone or go with a buddy. Find a friend. Double up. Like, just do it.
Yeah.
I think most people's fears is like, they don't know what to do, or they're going to look stupid trying to do something that they don't know what to do as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had one lady say to me, I don't want to be a gym fail video.
Yeah.
Well, can I
have that
say,
a
I did
lot.
one last week.
I love that.
Yeah, so maybe easy fit if you have the ladies' room.
What'd you do? I want to know.
What did you? Yeah, I
I was
hear
just
this.
messing around doing something, and I was just going to do a pullover with the cables, but the one, you know, you do like a pullover coming back,
Yes.
pulling over. Well, I had it heavy, trying to pull it over this way, trying to get myself on the bench. So the freaking rope pulled me back that way, and then my legs kept flying off.
Oh.
It's quite funny, to be honest. Like, I actually made myself laugh, but I was like, wow.
What day was it? I feel like you should get the footage one.
Yeah. It's a weekend. It was. There was no one else in there, but yeah. So I still do it.
Yeah.
Everyone still does it.
You still do it.
Yes.
And I think if you do something stupid, as long as you're not hurt, just laugh about it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
everyone does something
mean,
stupid at some stage.
Well, we're all seasoned lifters.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I've definitely done.
It's because I
dumb
had a
things.
sore shoulder as well, and I was just trying to load it a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously, I nearly freaking took my shoulder off. So yeah,
Did you stop? Yeah.
I
Okay.
thought, let's just quit while you're ahead.
And I shouldn't say this, I'm going to say it anyway. Have you seen the video going around of the poor girl that was going to do, what was she trying to do? She was trying to do cable kickbacks or something.
Oh, no.
And
leg
she
not
I've
flying
seen
up
that
the
one, and
top.
she flies up.
She flies upside down. It's okay.
Why?
It won't happen to you. It's fine.
I don't understand why she had it up there.
She obviously had the thing, like, the cable in the wrong
Yeah.
direction. So then
because it was
up
I
high and
loaded
she's
up
pulled
high
it
and she's
down,
pulled it down
and then
to
it's just
kickback.
pulled it back up.
Yeah.
So also too, if you are learning, one step at a time. Don't go trying to do advanced things. And that's sometimes why the TikTok workouts aren't good, because you usually have an influencer who's beautiful and has a great big peach and looks cute and all the things, who's demonstrating something that's not either functional or practical.
Yeah.
And is probably gonna just be doing something for views.
Yeah.
So that's why that's tricky. So just stick with the basics.
Stick with the basic. They're the things that work the best anyway.
Yeah.
I literally had this conversation with a couple of clients, like stop trying to make it interesting, if that makes sense. Like, just have fun in the progression of your lift.
I find that really interesting too, how people are like, after 4 weeks, I get bored. I'm like, your program, so say you're doing a 4-day-a-week program over 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Those 4 days of that week are different.
Yeah.
So it means you're only repeating the same day 4 times.
Yeah.
Like,
How can you be bored?
how can you actually be bored? Or
Yeah.
are you just using that as an excuse for some resistance?
Or
Like,
are you
what's
or are you
actually...
telling yourself that?
Yeah, because
everyone says that.
like 4 times that I'm bored of something.
Yeah.
Like,
think
I
people
find that...
miss the kind of like idea of why you're there in the first place.
Yes. And like 4 weeks is not very long time to progress, especially if your first week's figuring out your weight.
Yeah.
Your second week's getting comfortable and pushing a bit
Yeah.
more. Like, you don't have much more before you, I'm done, I'm bored. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, what are you doing? I think that, like, we were talking about this, which we won't put up before, about social media and the impact that it has. But I think that, like, when you're scrolling through social media and you see all these people doing this stuff, and like you said, Mon, a lot of it's fitness influencers.
Yes.
So they're not actually
They're not coaches.
trainers. They're not coaches. They probably don't even know really what they're doing. They're just doing something that they've been told to do. They already look good. They wear purposeful clothing, right? And then you see them and you're like, oh, but I want my ass to look like her, so I must need to do what she's doing.
Exactly.
And I think that happens. And because there's so many different ways to do things, it's like, I'm bored. Because I've seen 75 different other ways to do a kickback. Like,
It's funny, when I was in prep, last time I competed, I was doing reformer, and when I left, one of the ladies doing reformer asked the instructor, did I get to look like that from doing reformer?
Yes.
And she was quick to say, no, look, she does like X amount of weight training days, nutritional.
at you?
Yes.
Pointed at you.
So
okay.
she'd asked after I left,
Yes.
is that what I do? Like my main core of like exercise to look like that. But obviously she said no. But yeah, it's interesting because obviously you see girls doing a kickback with great glutes and female, and other people will say, is that how they got that?
Yeah.
Because that's what that exercise movement, they're trying to sell it to look
Yes.
like. Just do some bandy workouts, just do this is what you'll look like.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a short little 20-minute workout,
Yeah.
which obviously we all know that there's a hell of a lot more what
But
goes
again,
into
that's
building muscle.
that's also what fitness, and that's what people need to remember. Fitness influencers are there to sell you something,
Yes.
right? Like,
Yes.
that's what they're there for.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Because there was all those home workout videos going around COVID time. And I'm like watching these, and they're like, in 20 minutes, you can look like this and have shoulders like this. And I'm like, bitch, you didn't get like that with fucking like inverted push-ups, mate. Like, that's not how you got those shoulders.
No.
Like, yes, absolutely do homework. If you don't have access, if you didn't have access at that time, great way to keep moving until gyms were open. But you can't claim that you look like that because of bodyweight workouts.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm not dogging bodyweight workouts, because if that's all you can do,
Great.
absolutely do it. But like,
It's like the argument, I had someone say to me once, well, Laura Lee trains like this. Laura Lee being the current Miss Olympia, IFBB bikini. Mm-hmm. And yes, she does train slow, and she trains with a lower weight, and she does a lot of tempo and intensity work because she can't get any more muscular. She had to do the fundamentals.
pull back.
She had to build the muscle first
Yeah.
to be able to train how she is.
Yeah.
And my response back to that person was, well, when you are Miss Olympia, you can start doing it like that. Until then,
great response, Mon.
we have to build.
Yeah.
You have to build.
Yeah.
So go to basics, work on your strength,
Yeah.
and then start planning around later once you got it.
Yeah. And I think with the strength training stuff as well, women often very much underrate how strong they actually are.
Correct.
There's a difference between something like a movement being uncomfortable because your muscles are starting to burn and actually going to failure.
Yeah.
For example, and I think that like I have a program that I run through with people when I feel like they are not pushing themselves enough, and it's got an AMRAP at the end of every exercise.
Yeah.
So it's like you do your 3 sets and then you do an AMRAP. And they're like, well, how many reps do I have to do? And I'm like, it's an AMRAP, as many reps as possible. And so they'll go, okay, and I always know if they're actually doing an AMRAP or not, because they'll get to 10 or 15 or 20, and it's like, no, you're choosing to give, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I do an AMRAP, it's often like 12 or 17 or 23.
Yeah.
Or, do you know what I mean? Like, it's never really hits that, because I'm always pushing for just one more in it. And I think that, like, I'm trying to teach people, like, you need to, like, push that limit sometimes. You need to just know where that limit is as well, though.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, do it safely, as in, like, I don't want you to be doing sloppy stuff, but, you know. So I think that that's a big factor for women that need to, like, you need to really look at your training and be like, am I pushing myself hard enough?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think as well, like, if you're not utilising your rest periods, you're not going hard enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I get off something, I'm like, fuck. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I am spent for the next 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Because, like, I saw you on the hack
you
squat the other
can't.
day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've got to get back on this thing. And that's because I push to my max.
Yeah.
Where I need that rest.
Yeah.
But I think if you're skipping rest periods, you're not actually
Pushing yourself
No, you're
hard
not pushing yourself hard enough, no.
Yeah. I've had people who are like, because when I do my programs up, if I was to do it myself, it would take me 45 minutes to an hour. And someone said to me today, oh, I did it in 25 minutes. I said, no, you didn't. You need to go up in everything. Because
Yeah.
if you can do that in 25 minutes, you're not having long enough rest periods, which means you're not doing your sets hard enough. Because if you don't need a longer period than 25 seconds, like, you're probably not pushing to your, like, where you should.
I remember once someone's asking Paul after their weight training sessions if they could jump on the stair machine.
Yeah.
And Paul goes, no, you're not training hard enough in your
Yeah.
weight sessions. If you, after that session, can feel like you can get on that stair machine for 20 minutes,
No way.
you're not pushing hard enough.
No.
You're focusing in the wrong area.
I can't wait to leave, to be honest. Like, once I've done a Paul session and so I go into the gym and I'm like, halfway through, I'm like, how the fuck am I going to finish this? Like, if you're not thinking that, you're probably not training hard enough.
Yeah.
And then I finally push through and I'm like, thank fuck I got through that and I'm still alive. Like, if someone said to me, oh, do you want to jump on the stairs for 20 minutes? I'd be like, fuck no. Are you kidding me? Like, I don't have the energy for that. I used everything I have in my session up.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my clients is like, she was asking, she was new to using a Stairmaster. She said, what shall I start off on, like, 1 hour? I was like, try 5 minutes first, love. Like, because it is harder than it looks.
It's
Oh, it's
so
so
much
hard.
Yeah, so it's like, start off small, maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So are you listening, Michelle? Just do 5 minutes.
1 hour.
I was going to say, has she gotten back to you on that? Oh.
I think I kind of scared her. I'm like, just try the 5, not 1 hour. So yeah, she'll try it soon.
That sounds awful.
That
I think
sounds like hell.
I think I'd rather literally anything else.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you could stick needles in my eyes. Like, that's how bad an hour on the stair machine sounds.
Yeah,
No
it's
thanks.
just no.
It's funny, I'm doing this CrossFit comp at the weekend, and I think we've got an option of either doing, it's like a charity one. I think it's either like you can do a barbell one, or there's like a fitness one. So I'm not even sure what we're doing yet. But I'm like, which is going to be the most humiliating for me? Because I'm not fit anymore, or my technique will be shit in the barbell one. So I'm like, which is going to be the worst one?
Oh, I'm sure it's not, Kerry.
No, you'll be great.
Yeah.
I think we'll decide when we get there.
You're hilarious.
I'm going to stalk you all weekend now.
Come and watch.
I want to see how you
Come and
go.
laugh.
I want to see how you go.
But also too, like, how good's that? Just off a whim, I'm going to do a comp just because I can.
Oh, it's,
Yeah.
That's what I just love about consistently training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that I have the
You can.
ability to go, yeah, I'll come and join in.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it's just a nice feeling that, yeah, just keeping fit, strong, all these things that
Yeah.
you have the ability to do that.
Yeah.
I think sometimes too, women go all in,
Yeah.
and then we go all nothing.
Yeah.
Like we're all or nothing. We're
Yeah.
all in. We're doing a dieting phase. We're counting our macros, our calories, whatever. We're all in, and then when we're not anymore, we're off. Nothing's on.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're a bit like that with training. And some people would be like, oh yeah, I'll do a comp in 8 months. I've got to train for it. I'm going to do a 5K run, but I've got to train for it.
Yeah.
Like, how good would it be to be in the position in your life where you can just decide to do something for the fun of it?
Yeah.
There's a 5K fun run. Okay, cool. Let's go. Let's do it. It's in
Yeah.
2 weeks. I haven't run a little bit. I'm going to do a jog this week, see how I go. Instead of having to have this huge big build up for everything
Yeah.
that you want to do.
Yeah.
By keeping yourself fit, healthy, strong, you can go and do those things and
Yeah.
it not be like this big, huge thing that you have to work for.
It's actually funny that you talk about running because I remember last off season, like I just finished my 2022 comps. I hadn't run for years because I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate running. I suck at it. Never been very good at it. But in that off season in particular, I worked a lot on my glutes. And then I went to a BFT class with one of my best friends, and they had a running like station in there, and we had to run backwards and forwards for it was for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Like, why? I don't know. But I did it. Like I literally, and I had not, again, trained for any running thing at all. And I could have kept going.
Yeah.
But I think it's due to my strength training. I built my glutes up, I built my legs up, and I had stamina because, again, if you're lifting hard enough, my heart rate's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you're building your engine at the
Yeah.
same time, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a good feeling.
So many benefits.
Yeah. So strength training more for just more than just for how you look.
Yeah.
Yeah. For life.
Yeah, one of my ladies, what is she? She's in her early 60s, and she's an OT. So she knows her body very well, and she's been training a long, long time, but from a previous injury, she can't lift right arm very much over her head. So she's got very little
Mobility.
external rotation, and she can't peg the washing out because of the one. Well, she can, but it's difficult.
Yeah.
So we're just working on. She can get some range. We're getting more range.
Yeah.
But you can see that is something that becomes difficult when you get older as well.
Yes.
That it's just something that we take for granted.
Yep.
So we're working on strength in the arm, where she hasn't got much range, and she is getting more now because we're putting it through different strength ranges, a lot more stretching and stuff.
Yeah.
But also it's like, okay, but how do we work around this as well?
Yes.
Because she then has imbalances from using the other arm too much.
Yes.
But I think it's just making sure that,
She's trying to fix it as best she can, kind of thing. Yeah.
But even like she's thinking of like later as well. It's like
Yes.
she needs to keep strong.
Yes.
And so she can do other things too.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people underestimate how much functionality comes from strength training.
100%.
Like overhead press,
Yeah.
putting a box on a shelf.
Yes.
A squat is like sitting off a chair.
Yeah.
Like
There's so
pulling,
much.
pushing, all these different things. So
Yeah.
it does actually cross over a hell of a lot
Yeah.
into everyday life.
Absolutely. Especially because 9 times out of 10, when someone first starts with me, they do not know how to hinge.
Yeah.
Like the whole hinging from the hip thing is foreign to so many people. And that is a movement, obviously, that we use a lot in life. And that's why people's backs get sore and things like that. It's because you're not hinging anymore. You're just like slouching over into something. And I'm like, that's not healthy for anyone. Like, yeah.
But how many people can hinge and then warming up with a kettlebell, do 10 perfect hinges, then put it down in the shittest way they go, twist to the side and put it down. I'm like, what have you just done?
Yep.
Yeah.
Phil is terrible. Like with his job, like
I was going to say,
when
'cause
he's rushing, he starts like cranking his back, and you can see how when people are busy rushing, how
Yes.
like injuries happen then.
Yeah.
That's why they say that the injury happens at the most dumbest time.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, it
picking up
is.
a washing basket,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
the 100 deadlifts you just did
Yeah.
in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what gets blamed for it. Oh, I must
Exactly.
have exhausted my back. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, you just picked the basket up shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else, ladies, would like to add to strength training for health?
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, I think it's do it and do it forever as well. I think a lot of people,
Yeah.
it's not like I'll go for a little bit, I'll get stronger, then I can finish.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's like,
there is no finish line.
and you don't have to go 5 days a week.
No, you
like
don't.
2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And find something you enjoy doing. Like even it could be a home workout, whatever you're doing, just do something consistently and try and do it as long as you can as well.
Yeah.
I just think that's the thing is a lot of people sign up for 8-week challenges, 12-week challenges, and that's
then they
the
drop
only
off
duration
afterwards.
that they're planning on going for.
Yeah.
Instead of like creating habits around why we should do it forever as well.
Yeah. Pick a sustainable amount of times.
Yeah. Something I will add as well, I know like with Ozempic being really popular now, there has been so much data now
We're going here, are we?
no, the risk of osteoporosis.
Yeah,
it's huge. And again, how do we combat this? Strength training. But a lot of people use Ozempic and just do some cardio. They don't even think about the strength training benefits to actually help along with this.
And we were talking about this downstairs. The study came out, was it yesterday or the day before? It was very
week.
recent.
Yeah.
And it was like, so 66% of the weight loss is actually muscle mass. Which is over, you want to be losing fat, not muscle.
Yeah. Muscle mass, bone density, organ tissue.
So
that's
again,
scary.
That is terrifying. Like, so again, if you're going to go down that path, because like, whether you like it or not, whatever, that's not what
People's
we're here for
choices.
today. But if you're going to go down that path, like I've had quite a few, and I was saying that to Mon, I've had quite a few people reach out to me because they are taking that weight loss drug, but they want to also strength train and learn how to do that. And I commend them for that because at least they're doing something to kind of help themselves as well. So they're actually using it as a tool rather than just being like, oh, I'm just going to take this and not do anything, or I'm just going to take this and walk, or so at least the chances of them retaining that muscle mass, bone density, organ tissue is going to be higher, and the likelihood is it's going to be more fat loss than muscle mass loss, because we don't want to be losing muscle. Our bodies are already good at doing that
On their own.
Yeah, it's I think education needs to go with it.
Yeah.
As in, like, if someone's going to do it, they need to actually speak to a nutritionist, a dietitian, somebody.
Yep.
Because yes, your appetite is going to be decreased, but make sure what you are eating
is good.
Prioritize your protein, and it's not just that snacks that you fancy eating. It's just got to be actually calculated
Still
as
learn.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, still learn about your food, and
I had a consult this week with someone who was on it, and I'm not going to go into the details, but I asked her this one question, and it was just, what's your exit strategy?
Yeah.
And she didn't have one.
No.
And the doctor didn't have one for her. She had no way.
that concerns me.
plan.
The doctor didn't have one.
There was no plan about
How
what
do
are
we get off
doing.
it? How do we get off of this?
Yeah. And there was no real support around her nutrition or her training. That's why she came to me, because she was like at the gym and was talking to someone else and felt completely hopeless. And they said, go talk to Mon's in reception, go chat to her.
Yeah.
And that's how that happened.
Yeah.
So it's like, if
At
you
least she
are-
accidentally found you, Mon.
literally though. So if you are on these drugs and, you know, people make, it's your choice, but please
Educate yourself.
and get the correct support. Like our doctors, there's some incredible doctors out there, and there's some ones that are not so much, but they are a general practitioner.
Yes.
General.
Yeah.
They're not a specialist. They're not an expert in anything. They're that person that's like basically your middleman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go and get that additional support. You're going to need it.
Yeah.
Because these drugs are damn expensive. Like,
Yeah, that was the other thing we were talking about, saying that
Wild.
we don't have, like, people don't have money for personal training or coaching or nutrition coaching, but we'll go and spend all this money on this drug, and it's like, you just told me you don't have the money for that. I cost that.
Yeah. But just get the education and the support around it.
Yeah.
So that when you do come off
Have
it,
an exit strategy
have
for
an
the love
exit
of
strategy.
God.
Otherwise, it becomes another fad diet. It's another yo-yo.
Yeah.
You lose the weight, then what
Yeah.
happens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's so much information out there, and actually, in my opinion, it's getting better. Depending who you follow, obviously.
I was going to say,
I just think
feel
there
like
is a
that
lot.
depends who you follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it sounds extreme, sounds too good to be true, probably is.
probably
Find somewhere in the
definitely
middle. If you want fact checking, come to us. We'll fact check something for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not saying we're experts, but we're pretty good bullshit picker uppers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, ladies. I think that is fabulous. And yeah, anything final? Done?
Done.
Happy.
I'm pretty happy.
I'm hungry.
Just
actually.
go do it. You
Just go do it.
That's gone.
I would love one. A warm date scone, please. A big fluffy one, not a hard little brick one. So it'd be a nice big fluffy one.
Oh my God. I've got somewhere for you to go for one.
I've got tuna for lunch. Man. Anyways, let's wrap this
Goals,
up.
goals, mate. Goals, mate.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. If you're still here, congratulations. Because that went weird. But no, thank you so much. We are only doing this because of you guys, so thank you so much for listening. Please share this to a friend. I'm sure you've got someone who, as you were listening, you're thinking of that person. So please, please, please share. You never know, you may just change their life. Screenshot it, send it to your socials, and tag us in it. Share it to your stories, whatever. Oh my God, I need to stop talking. Until next time, Queen,
We got you.